Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we have a question from Cindy. Cindy asked a question regarding responding to another without ego. So it's a question about reactiveness. She said, if I think someone's words are projecting their fears onto me, what is an appropriate egoless response? So one thing I will tell you first and foremost, when it comes to the spiritual path, if you're constantly trying to think about and figure out what is coming from ego and what is coming from self, or how do I act without ego, it's going to get very, very complicated, okay? Instead, this is not a thinking process. This is not a figuring out process. Instead, it is a process of self-observation. Here on the spiritual path, the primary key is self-observation. The way to transcend your reactivity is self-observation. The way to overcome or dissolve identification with triggers, belief systems, reactiveness is self-observation. So on this path, you're going to encounter many things, people, situations, which are going to trigger responses within you. It may be fear, it may be insecurity, it may be sadness, it may be anxiety, it may be even pleasant things. It's not so important what other people are doing to you. It's not so important what other people are saying to you. It is not so important what is happening in the story of the character. What is important is that you learn to observe the reactions, mental and bodily, that are arising because of what is happening. You see, these reactions are so tied currently to circumstances. The point of this is not to ever react, right? We're not trying to stop reactions. We have to start to observe the reactions that are caused within the mind and body, and we have to just observe them. You see, that which observes them, first of all, it is I who observes them. I am not the reactions. It is very important to notice this. Whatever I observe, I am not. Whatever sensation or feeling is being felt in the body, whatever thought is being thought, whatever the state of the mind is, I am observing it. There's a distance between I and what I'm observing. I am not what I observe. So, whatever I'm observing, notice that the observer of it, me, I'm observing without any notion, without any judgment, without any idea about what I'm observing. It is the mind which constantly has ideas about this, and if this is good, if this is bad, if this person is doing this to me, what should I do? All this stuff, right? And that's where we usually are identified. From that we live. Now you are learning to discover a vast new depth to your being. You are not the mind that thinks. You are not living from the mind. You are the witness of the mind. You are the observer of even the mind, in which it is saying a bunch of things. So let's say this person has said something to you and you think that they're projecting their fears onto you. Observe that within yourself. Observe the sensations of fear arising. Don't think too much about it. Just learn to observe those feelings. That's it. Just learn to let them be. That's it. Even the thought, am I reacting from ego, or how do I make sure that this person doesn't project their fears onto me? Notice that the concern is of the mind, of which you are only the observer. It's not my concern. It's not me. Acknowledge that I am the observer of this and simply turn away from that conceptual concern. That concern is simply an idea. You have nothing to protect or hide. You know, the mind always has something to protect, something to hide, something to run away from. But you, the observer of mind, have nothing to run away from. And you don't need to live in concepts. You can face reality. The observer can face reality. It's like the sun that shines equally on everything. The awareness which shines equally on everything. That's the observer. But the mind is always trying to run away. It is trying to do something. It is trying to manipulate, control. And that's where we are identified currently. That's why we suffer. Now that you are stepping into you're into your observer mode, you're discovering a new depth to where you are seeing from, where you are living from, where you are being. You no longer have to go off into these conceptual concerns. And that's not, by learning to turn away from these conceptual concerns, you're not denying reality. Actually, you're returning to reality. These conceptual concerns are an avoidance of reality. They are an avoidance of what is presently here, which is the feeling of fear or whatever else. They're taking you off into illusion. So by learning to turn away from these conceptual thoughts and just being observing of the present state of feeling, present state of body, present state of mind. If it's pleasant, that's fine. If it's unpleasant, that's fine also. Everything will come and go. Everything changes. This state of mind is going to be changed and replaced with the next state of mind. It's not important. Just observe. This is the part that's so hard for everybody. Everybody's always trying to do something about what they're observing. Everybody's like, no, but tell me something to do after I observe. What now? What says what now? It's just the mind that's trying to control and manipulate. See if that which observes, right? You are that which observes. See if that has anything to change. See if that's wondering what now. No, the mind is wondering what now, and of that you are an observer. You see? So just the observation. This is where the action part comes in. So you may be like, okay, but I'm trying to do that, Sunny, but I'm in a situation where some sort of action is needed. You see, your job is self-observation. Even in the midst of that hectic situation where there's a lot of emotion involved, whatever, and you need to act, if you just do your best to observe rather than just identify with your reactions, if you just do best to observe, then whatever action comes out of that, trust that as the action that needed to happen. This is the part where you have to balance and get good at. It's going to be very difficult in the beginning, but this is something that through your own genuineness and sincerity of practice, you will learn to balance and recognize how to apply this. So you observe. Just by learning to observe, you're no longer so identified with your triggers and feelings and whatnot. So whatever action arises from that will be of a higher nature, call it, a more, it won't be as dysfunctional. It won't be from that feeling, okay? Now you say, oh, but no action is arising, but I just have to make a decision and do. And that's what I mean. The action doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. So you don't know how to act? Act on your best judgment there and then. Whatever you feel is the appropriate response, do that. You may say afterwards that like I acted, but it created further dysfunction. That's fine. As long as you're doing your best to observe, as long as you are just doing your best to observe the feelings and sensations, then trust whatever response comes out of that. Even though it may be, maybe like an argument happens or whatever, and you say, maybe I shouldn't have acted that way. Just learn to observe. You see, the judger, the mind is always judging what happens. And then it like you take an action and then it judges even that. You react and then it says, I shouldn't have reacted. Learn to stop going with this judger. Acknowledge the observer, right? The observer. Be the observer that is observing judgmentlessly. And then whatever is coming out of that, just learn to let that happen and be only the observer of even that. You see what this practice is helping you do? It's helping you become established as the awareness of experience. Prior to person, the body and mind, which is always in a state of reaction. The body and the mind are equally changeful experiences as the world outside. I'm not living from the body and mind. I am subtler than prior to the body and mind. So this practice of self-observation helps you go from personal identity to a subtler and subtler, truer identity. From form to formless. to illusory self to your true self. That's how important this practice of self-observation is. So no matter what happens to you or no matter what someone does, know that it's less about what they are doing and more about the reactions that are arising. The way to disentangle yourself from this web of conditioning, from the illusion, is not to be story focused in what this person is doing to me and what not. It's to be fixed in self-observation. And from here, your conditioning will start to unravel and loosen up. And your actions will become more and more harmonious, more and more functional, more and more pure. Not only will this make your personal life easier, but it will also help you dissolve layers and layers of mind, belief systems, concepts, self-image, ego. So practice this. It is so simple, yet so profound, so beautiful. To help you go deeper on this teaching, I have a free mini course right now on acceptance and emotional mastery, which helps you on the practical side of how to observe yourself in the most difficult of situations. And that mini course is actually attached to my free support group where you can interact with the community and also submit questions like this for me to answer in these videos. So if you're interested in that and you think that would be helpful to you, I'll link it down below in the description box. Okay, so go check that out. Now, if you want more private help from me and you want to work with me to help you dissolve mind identification and start awakening to your formless nature, then you can also check out my School of Awakening, which is a day-by-day structured program that offers a ton of help to you and really helps you apply these teachings into your life. I'll link that down below as well. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. It really helps out a lot. I'll see you in the next video.